Alright, we're taking a look at the first lead guitar solo from Ramblin Man, the one that starts on your tab at bar 5. On the original record it starts at about 1 minute and 8 seconds. And it's going to run from bar 5 of your tab to the end of the tab over on the second page. It starts with a twin guitar section. Can you see again that we've got two guitars, guitar 1 and 2, written one on top of the other. Guitar 1 is Dickie Betts. Let's take a look at that one first. It's the one I played on the playthrough. So let's take it phrase by phrase. Here's bar 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So it's an ascending scale run, but played quite fast. We're coming on the 3rd string from fret 11 to 12 to 14. Alternate picking with the right hand. 2nd string 12 to 13 and 1st string 10. The fingering's important. I think that's the best fingering. Index, middle, little finger, middle finger, ring finger, index finger. Bar 2, still with our finger on the 1st string 10th fret, pull off 12 to 10, play 10 again, and one more time right at the end of that bar. 1 and 2, 3, 4 and. So you've got 1 and, you've got beat 3, and you've got the and of 4. Bar 3. We're moving this pair of fingers in the same shape but down to the 2nd string, 12 and 10. Pull off 12 to 10 and play 10 again. 1 and 2, 3. So 1 and 3. And the final descending run it's the 2nd string. You're already on the 10th fret. We're going to play 11 to 10. 3rd string 12. 3rd string 9 sliding to 7. And 4th string 9 to 7. And the tab says go to 5, which I think is what's happening on the original record. But if you're going to go straight into the guitar solo, which you probably are, you're much better off not going to the 5th fret of the 4th string, but playing that note as the open 3rd string, because that buys you a moment to come back up the neck for the next part, the improvised part of the solo. Okay, that's counting 1, whoops, if I get it in the right place, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, that's guitar 1, Dickie Betts. Here it is again. 1 and 2. Now underneath that is the harmonized guitar part, which, let's take it bar by bar. It's going to start like this. Okay, we're coming on the 5th string from 12 to 14 to 15. And on the 4th string, I'm pretty sure on the record that what we're hearing is 12 to 14 to 16. But I can tell you when I play this for real at full speed, that final note on the 16th fret doesn't give me enough time to get where I need to go next, which you can see on your tab is the 15th fret of the 1st string. So I leave that note out. I go 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, which sounds fine, and let that 14th fret note ring a little longer. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that little extra ringing allows you time to move to this shape, 15th fret of the 1st string and the 14th fret. I use ring finger, middle finger here. We're going to pull off 15 to 14, play 14 again, and one more time. Of course, the rhythms are exactly the same as guitar part 1, so that they play perfectly together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Bar 3 in guitar 2. 2nd string, and we're pulling off 15 to 13 and playing 13 again. 1 and 2, 3, 4. And the descending run in this second guitar part is 15 to 13 and then slide down to 12 on the second string, and then the third string 14 to 12, fourth string 14 to 12, fifth string 14. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Those two guitar parts in that beginning section of the guitar solo obviously work perfectly together in harmony, as you'll discover if you play them with another guitarist, or if you're lucky enough to have some multi-tracking equipment. You can put one part down and then put the second part over the top of it and hear how good they sound together. Once that's finished, it takes us into the improvised part of the solo. We're going to learn it note for note as Dickie Betts plays it on the original recording, but do bear in mind that he's improvising, and because this song is in the key of G, he's improvising out of the G major pentatonic scale. If you know how your scales work and you want to improvise this solo, use G major pentatonic and you'll be right there for the way this music sounds. But he starts it off with this phrase. This is, by the way, it's bar 9 of your tab. We're starting on the third string, 12th fret, and we're sliding away up to 16. And then, I use the ring finger, but the middle finger would be fine too. And then we want the 15th to the 17th fret of the second string. 1 and 2, 3, 4 is your rhythm. He tends to stop those two notes. Like that, but that's optional, that's just interpretation. Now come down to the last line of the tab, bar 10, where guitar 2 now has dropped out. We're just looking at one guitar, and at bar 10 we play this phrase. Actually, let me play bars 10 and 11, they really belong together. We're playing the first string, 15th fret, play it twice. Then bend the 17th fret of the first string, but don't let it come down. Now, stop it at the top, but I rest my pick on it. See my pick there just resting on that first string. There are other ways to mute it. Use one that works for you, but that's what I do. Now with the pick still resting, the string comes down silently, and I'm going to play 17 to 15 of the first string. And I finish that bar by moving to a little half bar. In fact, I do that after the bend. No, I'm just thinking what I do at full speed. I do now, at that point, move to a half bar, top two strings at the 15th fret, play 15 of the first, 15 of the second, and 17 of the first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4 is your rhythm. And bar 12. Staying in the same shape with a little mini bar, play 15 of the first, and then pull off 17 to 15 of the second. 17 of the second again, 16 of the third, 15 of the second, and 16 of the third again, which is really part of the next phrase. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and... But let's come back on this note of the 16th fret of the third string because it's part of the next phrase and we'll take it through to the end of bar 13. There's a nice little Dickie Betts country lick for you. We started then, as we just saw, on the 16th fret of the third string. What we're going to do is we're going to slide it down to the 14th and back up to the 16th as part of just one pick movement. So one pick gives us 3 notes. Immediately that we've done that slide down and up again, we play without this finger coming away, index finger to the first string 15th fret and play that note. Then repeat the sliding phrase from the middle finger. And have the index finger come to the second string 15th fret. So you get a super little country lick. Like that. And the end of that bar, the end of bar 13, is back on the 16th fret of the third string. So coming from the and of 4, the beginning of the sliding lick, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and bar 14, second page of your tab. Starting that still with the middle finger on the third string 16th fret. Now have the ring finger on the second string 17th fret, play that note. Back to the third string still at 16, and the ring finger comes away, and hopefully your index finger is still on the second string 15th fret. We're going to play that note. So 17 of 2, 16 of 3, 15 of 2. Now that middle finger on 3 slides down again, 16 to 14. And the index finger drops back to 12 of the third. And that phrase finishes on 14 of the fourth. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 is the rhythm of bar 14. Bar 15 we're on 12 of the third string, 14 of the fourth string, and then the little finger can drop in on 14 of the third string. And the next thing to do is to have, as these fingers begin to come away, have the index finger drop into a half bar covering 4 strings at the 12th. Play the third string at the 12th, and then the fourth string pulling off 14 to 12. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And bar 16. Let me play 16 and 17 together, they really belong together. Because they're finishing that first phrase really. So, still with the half bar, the 12th fret of the fourth string, play it twice. Come to the 14th fret of the fourth string, and then the half bar comes away and the middle finger comes to the 14th fret of the fifth string. And then back to the fourth string again as we go 12, pull off 14 to 12, and play 12 one last time. So those 2 bars are counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. And I think of that as sort of the halfway point of the solo. There seems to be a natural pause at that point before he goes into something new. Okay, let me play back what we've played so far, slowly, from bar 10. 2, 3, 4. Taking us to bar 18 and this phrase. I played bars 18 and 19 together there because again they really belong together, impossible to separate them. This is all about the third string. Everything we play is on the third string. We're going to go 12 and then pull off 14 to 12 and then play 12 one more time. So pick, pull, off, pick. And then 14 to 12 again, 14 and give it a little bend up and release it. And then pick 12 twice. And finish the phrase with, guess what, 14 to 12. Good example of how a good guitarist can get a lot of mileage out of just 2 notes. So the count on bars 18 and 19, 1 and 2 and 3. and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Let's take a look at bar 20. And in fact, the first note of bar 21 really belongs in that phrase. Second string, pull off 13 to 12. Third string, 14. Third string, pull off 14 to 12. Fourth string, 14. Notice what the index finger does there. The index finger is involved in the pull off 13 to 12. The ring finger comes to the third string, 14, and plays that note, and as it's playing that note, the index finger is travelling to 12 of the third string, so that we can then play the pull off. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1. That final note is 1 of the next bar. And that bar, bar 21, finishes with a repeat of the very first thing we played all the way back at bar 9. As we started the improvisatory part of this solo. It's the slide from 12 to 16 and second string 15 to 17 in the same rhythm that we played it before. Now, bar 22 and 23 belong together again. Let's play them together. It's similar to what we played at bars 10 and 11, but not quite the same. We start off with the first string, 15, twice, and then 17. As 17 is playing, the first finger, index finger, drops into a half bar, 2 strings at the 15th fret, top 2 strings, play 15 of the first string, pull off 17 to 15 of the second string, 16 of the third string without the half bar coming away, 17 of the second string, 16 again of the third, 15 of the second, you should still be there at the half bar, and now that slide down phrase again, middle finger to 16 of the third and it slides to 14, just like we've played this before. Now come back with the index finger to 12 of the third and 14 of the fourth. The rhythm of those two bars. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And we have one more phrase to bring this solo home. Bars 24 and 25. Last two bars of your tab. It's a descending sequence effectively. We're going to pull off 13 to 12 of the second string, 14 of the third string twice. As you're playing those, the index finger moves to 12 of the third. We're going to play a hammer-on pull-off, third string 12 to 14 to 12. That hammer-on pull-off comes across the bar line. It's going 4 and 1. Fourth string 14, third string 12, and as you're doing that, actually on that playing, that note of the 12th fret, have the finger drop into our half bar again, 4 strings at the 12th fret. Now, because now you want to pull off 14 to 12 of the fourth string, and the fifth string 14 and 12 to 14 hammer on. So a lot going on in those two bars. It's the rhythm that's important if you want to get it just like Dickie Betts. 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's immediately on the one of the next bar into verse 2 of the song. Okay, that's how to play it note for note, the way Dickie Betts is playing it. Don't feel though with any of this stuff that you must play it note for note. You're in the G major pentatonic scale. Feel free to use one or two of his licks that you like and improvise in your own way out of the G major pentatonic scale to fill out the solo any way you like to do it. Alright, I'll see you again on lead part 2.